Now, there are good reasons why television producers of situation comedies have staff with recorded laughter of different kinds of intensity, sitting waiting for the signal to, let's be frank, pretend that somebody thought this was funny. Whether they would or not is hard to say, but I don't think we should be afraid to find out. And if there hasn't been a simulation, we'll do it ourselves. So if all our laughter is contrived, we're living in a very interesting world. Not so much a question of who is the last comedian left standing, but what would be the naked joke? Now, I would define a naked joke not as something to do with clothes. I would define a naked joke as one that has to fend for itself without the canned laughter. I know that television ratings firms and beta testers and others do try to see what this is going to look like if a joke has to fend for itself. But I want to see what it means like to have a true laboratory of comedy. And this is one of the first things that we have to do for our national math lab. We need a comic laboratory, and we need it, well, today would be convenient. We need a laboratory of comedy that is the fountainhead of particular comic labs. Now, a laboratory of comic genius is easy to understand because at the beginning it would be a museum of comic genius. But this couldn't be, since our theories, our jokes, like, shall we say, a conventional museum, not even like a please touch me museum. It would more be along the lines of please laugh with me. It might be the kind of place where you have to tell a joke in order to get through a gate. Or it might be that a lie detector will gauge whether laughter you produce is real or simulated. Then again, an innovative laboratory of comic genius might be the kind of place that would allow you to entertain a lonely person near or far with your humor. It may be that the laboratory of national comic genius in each country will become a work of the Minister of Education. And this is how it would work. For each country, there would be time slices going back in centuries. With ancient Greece, for example, well, modern Greece, I mean, we would be able to turn the clock back 2,500 years approximately to the time of Aristophanes. Aristophanes, in his play The Clouds, lampooned the local and contemporary philosopher Socrates as living in cloud cuckoo land, a phrase that has come down to this generation. Aristotle distinguished between tragedy and comedy, but that wasn't a comic act. It was an exposition of the theory and nature of the comedian. We want, for our universe of discourse, nothing less than accessible profiles of, dare I say, the heroes of comedy, past, present, and yes, future. Now, my sister lives in Weymouth, England, on the south coast. She told me how recently she had gone to see a comedian named Ken Dodd. He's famous for such things as the Diddy Men. He was recently played the part of Yorick in Kenneth Branagh's film Hamlet. Age 82, he goes on stage and works the crowd until after 1 a.m., I think, probably about a 5-hour show. When asked why, he said, "I'm stage struck." He loves comedy because he loves to see people healed through laughter. So here's a practical consequence. If laughter and healing are connected, perhaps every hospital in our design would have a little barnacle, a lab of healing laughter. A laboratory is no more really than a place where you see how things work and try them out. And that's what we're doing here. I want the next generation of comics to train with me now. I'm in the happy situation of being able to teach mathematics. It's a large subject and nobody can teach all of it. But there are little clues that we can glean from simple mathematics about cosmic humor. You know, mathematical literacy gives us subtle and quite sophisticated ways called instruments of thought, of measuring things. Some people think that that's a bad idea. Others think it's a great idea. I think it's an acquired taste, to be exact. So here's an example. You go to a comedy club, you come back, somebody in your family says, "How was it?" And you say, "Great." Well, that's not very sophisticated, but you could have said it was lousy. Let's suppose, though, that there are two mathematicians. One goes, one stays. One comes back. How was it? The one who goes says, well, how exact shall we be in talking about it? Shall we say it was either or? That would be what's called nominal scale of measurement. It was good, it was not so good. I laughed, I didn't laugh. Shall we rank it and say it was better than the one I saw the other day, or it was better than the last time I saw him? This would be the ordinal scale of measurement. Even to say it was good, it was very good, it was extremely good, it was superlatively good, is to entertain an order of 4 degrees in ordinal number theory. Now, for those whose brains are turned off at that, let me just turn this around and say, you can make more money out of a joke if you understand these degrees. And the third level that we usually talk about in teaching inferential statistics is called interval level data, where you can measure something in discrete elements like centimeters or degrees Fahrenheit. And having done that, you can do mathematical work on it. Or to put another way, you can give it to an accountant. Well, let's now suppose that our mathematical comic theory was really a theory of finance. And if all our theories are jokes, it means that what we're really doing is looking for the most lucrative joke in the world. So let's play with this a little bit, as Homo ludens should, and see where it takes us. Okay, we're looking for the most lucrative joke in the world. Now let's say it a different way. We want the most profitable joke in the world. Well, what does the word most mean? Actually, it's a very elastic word. Let's try it from different angles. We want a joke so potent, or a comic routine so side-splitting that people would drop their wallets into a common pool when they heard it. Actually, that's not so far away from many myths that we have in science fiction, where suddenly it is revealed that we serve some higher purpose. This is a very commonplace idea in the work of Arthur C. Clarke, for example. But that doesn't take us away from the need to have the actual jokes and to measure their cash value. So instead of having canned laughter, maybe we want is to substitute coins and the noise they make in dropping to the floor when you hear a joke. What if, though, the people listening knew that the money they spent on the joke in response to it was being used to train comedians in poor countries and rich ones The joke that changed the world of the orphanage.